to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs, fantasies, and fetishes? Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss you. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Have you ever lost a loved one or a meaningful relationship? Or perhaps you got rejected by your crush? Were you treated unfairly by your parents as a child? After any traumatic event, it's important to work on the necessary healing. Unhealed trauma can affect our brain and lives in many ways and unfortunately will not die down on its own. So, here are 5 ways unhealed trauma affects us. 1. Potential violent acting out. Have you ever wondered why some people turn to violence and aggression? In our brains, there's an emotional hub called the amygdala. While the amygdala controls the expression of many emotions, it tends to have a very prominent role in fear and aggression. Unhealed trauma tends to intensify these negative emotions in the brain, such as fear, anxiety, agitation, stress, and so on. According to Carolyn Yoder from Peace After Trauma, when trauma goes unhealed, the normal stress reactions from trauma can amplify into acts of violence. Yoder says that this sort of violence can pass through generations, so she suggests trying to break this cycle and heal as soon as possible. 2. The potential development of PTSD. It's natural to feel afraid during a traumatizing situation, but do you often feel stressed or frightened even when you're not in real danger? Post-traumatic stress disorder is one of the most well-known impacts of trauma. But did you know that PTSD actually results from unhealed trauma? This anxiety disorder can manifest in many ways.
Ladies and gentlemen, the VOR is on fire tonight, live from KBLA Talk 1580 in the heart of Leimert Park. I'm on right now. Can wounds lead to wisdom? We have one of the foremost experts on the subject, Dr. Alan Berger, author of Emotional Sobriety. Can you tell them where to get your book? You have so many books. Tell them about your books and your work and your practice and where people can follow you.
Well, thanks. So listen, my latest book is 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety. And a lot of the things we're talking about are related to emotional sobriety. Emotional sobriety is another way of describing it. It's emotional freedom. It's emotional autonomy. And that's what we're talking about. See, part of the wisdom quest that we're on here, so tonight, with this whole discussion of trauma, is how do we take an experience that has put us in a cell, and how do we break free from that cell? Now, that cell we constructed to protect ourselves. Just before in our discussion about the characterological adaptation to trauma, you see, we're going to create as much safety as we possibly can by building whatever we build around us, whether it's walls, whether it's bars with space, whether it's we try to please other people. We think that our safety is going to come if we get them to love us. I mean, there's so many different ways that this goes. Mm-hmm. But you and I know that those adaptations were the best possible solutions at the time, but they're not the best solutions. There are solutions that we can discover today that are going to honor our integrity, our wholeness, all of what we are, all of who we are. And in fact, it's a great way to define mental health. Mental health is an appropriate balance and coordination of all of what we are. And see, that's what happens is when you get to that, you're a wise person, man, because you're operating with an awareness of yourself and others.
What strategies can individuals use to gradually build a sense of safety and agency in their trauma recovery? How can we simplify healing? What is healing? Many people think healing is waiting. If I isolate myself, if I just run for a little while and I get my mind off of it, I distract myself. What exactly is healing, Doc?
Well, you know, for me, healing is integration. That's what causes healing, is to take the experience that has not been fully digested and to digest it. See, I like to use our biology as an example of what it means to digest an experience. So if I take an apple and I take a bite of that apple, right? That apple starts out as an apple. It goes into my mouth. I chew it up. It mixes with my saliva to make it easier for me to swallow. It gets into my gut, and there's acid gets added, more enzymes. It gets churned up into kind of a mulch, and it gets passed into the intestines. And as it goes through the intestines, my body takes out of that what I need and gets rid of the rest.
And it becomes a part of you, right?
There it is. You can't even say it's an apple anymore. Now
Right.
it's Alan or it's Zoe.
Right.
And see, that's what we can do with any trauma. We have to chew it up. We have to digest it. Sometimes we have to throw it up because it's just horrible. I mean, I've worked with so many trauma, victims and stuff that they've had is that at some point in the therapy, they're actually got their head over a wastebasket throwing up the bile in their gut from the experience. And that's how they digest it. So we've got to give people, we got to create a safe space for people to, what we call, create a safe emergency where people can go into this situation, deal with that trauma so that they can start to integrate it and grow from what they can from that experience and get rid of the rest.
One more question before we go to callers, because this is very heavy what you're talking about here, man. And I'm starting to just really see it. Would you say that true healing is the ability to feel without fear or judgment? Whatever you've been through, whatever the pain is, to be able to feel it without judging it.
You got it. You to find the courage to allow yourself to surrender to the experience. That's right on. And as you surrender to it, there is no judgment. It is what it is. And hopefully around someone like you or me or someone else that loves you and cares about you and is going to support you and guide you through that process. We can't do this alone, man. This is not something you do alone.
So you know what's interesting? Listening to you, it just wakes up so many ideas, and you know how I am, Doc. I'm sorry.
I know how you are. Yes, I do. I love it, man. I love who you are, Zoe. I love who you are.
Years ago, I saw this guy have a terrible accident on the basketball court. It was probably the most horrific accident I've ever seen on a concrete asphalt basketball surface. And maybe a couple of weeks before, he was out there playing, and he wasn't really good, of course. He couldn't really play. But he was out there with us. And he winds up twisting his ankle. So then, for a couple of weeks, he's coming, but he's not playing. And then finally, he decides to get back on the court. But what I notice is that he is nursing the ankle. And he gets on the court, and he plays gingerly to try to prevent from hurting himself. And I can remember telling him, you can't play like that. Either you're hurt and you can't play, right? Or you sit down and you give yourself some time and you recuperate. And what happens is when you're always focused on what might happen, you could inadvertently bring that into play. And when I tell you the guy went out there after I told him, to sit down, he broke his leg, broke his ankle, the same ankle.
Ooh.
So he broke his ankle, broke his leg. I had to put him in his car and drive him to the hospital. I mean, it was a really bad injury.
Right.
Only because he was so focused on what might happen, on what could happen. So when I'm listening to you explain, like many times we're looking at the wound in the same way. How do I protect it? How do I prevent the wound from being re-injured? How do I not go through this again? And sometimes you might be bringing the problem to the new situation.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Just based on the thought process you have.
No, listen, it's a brilliant observation. So that's so true, man, is that by protecting ourselves and thinking we're going to prevent it, we end up creating a worse situation. A worse situation. It's very interesting is that Dr. Carl Menninger described the alcoholic as a guy who's on fire, right? And he's running on a pier, and he decides to jump off the end of the pier to douse the flames. But the guy doesn't know how to swim. So here we go. We try to deal with one problem by trying to put ourselves in a situation, and what we do is if you don't get informed by it, then we make it worse.
Right.
We don't make it better, man. We don't make it better. We exacerbate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Dr. Alan Berger. I'm getting ready to go forward, but when we come full circle, I'm going to the phone lines. We got Jacksonville, Florida. We got Michigan, Battle Creek, Michigan. But before we come forward, let me just say this. It has been said, time heals all wounds. I do not agree. The wound remains. In time, the mind, protecting its sanity, covers them with scar tissue, and the pain lessens, but it is never gone. Rose Kennedy. When we come forward, we're going to keep cooking. Wounds do lead to wisdom.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
When it comes to special needs educational and health resources, Special Needs Network has you covered. On Saturday, August 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jane Addams Park in Lawndale, Special Needs Network and California Assemblywoman Tina McKinnon invite you and your entire family for a fun-filled day at a back-to-school and health fair. Featuring music, live performances, exhibitions from your favorite professional LA sports teams, a petting zoo, pony rides, a kids zone, and professional haircuts for kids and teens. Get critical early identification and intervention resources, health and dental screenings, bags of fresh fruits and vegetables, and an opportunity to win fantastic prizes. Free backpacks and school supplies while they last for students, and a chance to win a free cell phone or tablet from TrueConnect with an EBT card. Visit SNNLA.org or on Facebook or Instagram at Special Needs Network.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking checking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with autosave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. More. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. There's nothing more precious than to raise a family. If there's any doubt in your mind, you can count on me. I'll never let you down, lady, believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, you're listening to the Voice of Reason live on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about trauma. The intricate web of trauma's impact extends far beyond the moment of the traumatic event itself. It reaches into the recesses of an individual's early life experiences, weaving together a complex tapestry that influences how they navigate and heal from trauma. The role of these formative experiences is pivotal in shaping an individual's ability to cope, adapt, and ultimately transcend the haunting grip of trauma. Early life experiences lay the foundation for an individual's emotional regulation, attachment styles, and coping mechanisms. Children who have grown up in nurturing and secure environments tend to develop healthy emotional regulation skills, enabling them to process and manage distressing emotions more effectively. In contrast, those who experienced inconsistent care, neglect, or abuse may struggle to regulate their emotions, amplifying the intensity of their trauma responses. Now, attachment styles established early in life significantly impact the capacity to form trusting relationships and to seek support when confronted with trauma. Securely attached individuals often have a greater ability to lean on others during times of distress, fostering a sense of safety and facilitating the healing process. Insecure attachment patterns, on the other hand, can often lead to difficulty in seeking help, a tendency to isolate, or even reenactment of past traumatic dynamics in adult relationships. Obviously, trauma has value, but if many of us do not see it as valuable, Doc, how can we change the norm? How can we normalize embracing trauma, empathetically embracing what we've been through so we can crack it open and extrapolate the actual jewel that is contained within the wound.
Yeah, that's this is the importance of working through the issue in what we call finishing unfinished business. And it's a process, though, and you know that, and I know that. It begins with an awareness of how the trauma has informed you in your development. We talked about the characterological adaptation. You called it the attachment styles. That's another way to think about it. We got to become aware of what we're doing, right? As we become aware of what we're doing, then we start to dig into, well, what sent me off on this trajectory? What are the things that I need to deal with and go back to? I'll just to give you a quick example from my life. My father was diagnosed with cancer when I was 10. Up to that point in time, my family felt very safe and secure. And now all of a sudden, this cancer invaded our family and was starting to eat away the very security of our family and of my life. And then when he died, right, the day after Christmas in 1963, December 26th, I remember my mom walking in the room. She said, "Your daddy died last night." She's in tears, and she pivoted, Zoe, and walked out, and I was standing there all by myself. At that point in time, I realized there was going to be nobody there for me, and I had to become self-reliant in order to deal with this trauma. And at that point, I made the decision that the rest of my life is going to be a test of my invulnerability. I am not going to depend on anyone. I'm not going to rely on anyone, and I'm going to go through this life like I don't need anybody. The opposite was true.
Right.
This guy, Ernie Larson, says, we're looking for the right thing, but in the wrong areas. I needed love. I needed connection. I didn't need self-reliance. And so what I turned to is alcohol and drugs. I'm in recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction. I've got 52 years in recovery. And my God, but I was looking for that love and connection in the bottle. Man, in a pill, in a joint. I mean, I thought that was going to give it to me. And then when that didn't do it, I thought maybe if I find the right woman, she'll have the answer. And the answer was in the relationship, but not on me depending on her. It's on creating a loving atmosphere. You can't do that when you're self-reliant.
Wow. So, and self-reliant is dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant.
You got it.
Attachment
That's right.
styles, right?
That's right on, man. That's right. There's other ones, there's an aggressive attachment style that thinks that by having power over everyone, right, that you're going to be okay. I mean, controlling everybody, that's going to be the answer, or getting everybody to love you, or not needing anything. I mean, these are all strategies. None of them work. None of them work.
Paulo Coelho, he says something very powerful, the author of The Alchemist. He says, "Don't allow your wounds to transform you into someone you are not."
Yeah, that's it, man. That's what happens to us. That is what happens to us. That's what our wounds do.
All right, Doc.
That's what they do.
Let's get some callers in here, man. They want to talk to you, Doc. Are you
that.
ready?
I'm ready.
Here
the doctor's in the house.
Here we go. Mimi from Jacksonville, Florida. Get in here.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, everyone.
Hey. We on the line. Talk to us.
This is a great topic. Really, it's hitting home. Dr. Berger mentioned earlier in the show about self-attachments, and he specifically was talking about self-protection. And I'm a very positive person, bubbly. I always try to find the good in everyone until they show me who they are. They show me the truth, you know what I'm saying? I always try to find the silver lining. And I think that I have used self-protection as a way to overlook or get past, deal with, cope with past trauma. And I didn't think that was a bad thing until tonight. Like, maybe that wasn't the best way to go about it. Am I off base? Am I wrong?
You are you're digging for gold here. You're in the right direction. You're definitely going in the right way, because see, when I move into that protective eye in order to deal with this, I cut off my ability to be in relationship to you or to others. And
you mean
once
me?
Again,
I'm cutting myself off?
Yeah, that's right. We don't think we are. We think we're protecting ourselves, but we're cutting ourselves off.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and even what you said, I'll play back something that you said to me, and I want you to hear it, because this is very important what you said. You said, I'm going to go ahead and trust them until they show me who they are. They're not showing you who they are. You know what they're showing you? They're showing you who they became in order to protect themselves. See, they're showing you the same thing that you're showing them. You're not seeing them, because they're somewhere in there. They've gotten lost too, right? They're somewhere in there. So what you see what I'm saying? You're seeing what they've done to protect themselves. That's not who they are. Just like that's not who you are. You know, you want love, you want connection, you want to be accepted, just like I do. And we don't know how to do that and not make somebody too important, so we protect ourselves.
Wait, Doc. You said something so profound. I have to jump in here to get some more clarification on it. Are you saying when there are unhealed wounds that in a lot of ways we're not, like you said, the real person is in there somewhere, but we're not really interfacing with the real person? Could we be dating a coping mechanism?
Yeah, we are. That's a great way to say it, man. We're dating what they became in order to, once again, as I said, to adapt to that trauma. And of course they're gonna be that protective eye. The way to think about it is we retreat into a protective eye. That protective eye is going to take all kinds of different forms and shapes in terms of its adaptation.
So,
go ahead, Mimi. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to do what I've been trying to avoid. I mean, it sounds good, it does, but I'm afraid to do it. I'm gonna have to see a therapist, because I don't know how to be anything else. Because I thought that I'm positive and I'm nice and I'm sweet and people like me.
Oh, you are. Yeah.
But I need to see a therapist.
Yeah, you do, sweetie. That's right. That's okay. It's good to know that. It's good to know that. It's really good to know that, and give yourself some credit for being aware of that and seeing that right now. Good for you.
Yes, this is a beautiful breakthrough, Mimi. Don't see this as a bad realization. This is a great realization, sweetheart.
Yeah, I just don't know if you hear so many things about therapists and everything, and they want to know everything, and I just don't know if I want to tell everything, but I know I have to.
Well, hey, if somebody starts up wanting to know everything, they're not a good therapist. They're going to meet you where you're at. They're going to meet you where you're at, Mimi. And they're going to make sure you support yourself. And they're not going to take you too fast. If they are, then they're not the right person. You get out of their office.
Wait, stay with us. I want Mimi and the doctor to stay with us. When we come forward, we're going to go back to Mimi and Dr. Berger. This is so powerful. The voice of reason is happening right now.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. No arrests have been made so far connected to the Georgia election interference investigation in Fulton County, Georgia. It's been a week since racketeering indictments were brought down against former President Trump and 18 co-defendants. Black District Attorney Fani Willis has given everyone a deadline of this Friday to surrender. Meantime, former President Trump's bond in that Georgia election case is set for $200,000. Trump's lawyers met with the Fulton County District Attorney's office today to negotiate terms of his bond and release. Officials at a Texas HBCU near Houston say heat exhaustion is the main reason for more than 36 students being hospitalized after a school event. Emergency medical professionals were called to Prairie View A&M University during the final night of Panther Camp activities for new students. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the accident guys to speak with a real expert attorney for a free consultation.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Dominique DePrima here. Having a good credit score is one critical step to obtain a loan to buy a home. But did you know that your credit score is just one factor in getting a mortgage loan? Think about this. Lenders also consider your income, your employment history, current monthly debts, the size of the loan, and the amount of your down payment. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives support you in reaching them. Access your personal financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor. Finally reaching her, I asked, "What do you call that amazing smell?"
It's Gain Flings.
Gain Flings. My love had a name, but more importantly, it had a scent.
Fall in love with Gain Flings. Seriously good scent. Gain Flings with 50% more freshness ingredients versus leading bargain detergent.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
So, baby,
Today we're going to talk about trauma triggers, since these can sneak up on us. They can be upsetting and often ruin our days. Before we jump into that, I want to let you know that my book Traumatized is available for pre-order right now. In this book, I dig into what trauma is, how it can feel, and ways that we can heal from it. It's my hope that this helps answer any questions or concerns that you may have about PTSD and offers tangible options for healing and growth. So click the link at the top of the description to pre-order yours now. Isn't she pretty? I'm so excited. I hope you love it. Most of us are aware of the larger trauma triggers. We can recognize some of the people, places, and things that harmed us and do our best to avoid them all. For example, if our trauma had something to do with the beach, we can avoid any area with sand or sounds of the beach. We can sit down with our therapist and make a list of all the things that we know trigger our trauma response or bring us back into those frightening events. But what about the unconscious triggers? The ones that maybe we don't recognize and often find upsetting us or pulling us into flashbacks and causing us to dissociate. Those are the ones that I want to talk about today. The unconscious trauma triggers, and how we can identify them so that they no longer harm us. We are constantly taking in our environment, the sounds, the scents, how the outside air feels on our skin. We are like sponges for sensation, which can be great when it comes to enjoying ourselves and assessing our area for threat so that we're kept safe. But this can also make us more vulnerable to trauma triggers, which brings me to one of the most common unconscious trauma triggers: scent. Over the years, I've had patients report getting flashbacks or dissociating when in tight or busy spaces, like an elevator or at a work conference, and chalking it up to being around a lot of people that they don't know. And while that may be the case, sometimes when we dig a little deeper, we can find that a perfume or cologne worn by someone in the
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason back in the building. Friends and family, you already know we have tough discussions here. And real moments happen all the time. On the line right now, we've got my guest, Dr. Alan Berger, therapist extraordinaire. And, of course, Mimi from Jacksonville. Get back in here, Mimi.
Hey.
Mimi, first off, let me just say thank you for the transparency. We love you. You know this is a safe space.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you for calling and opening it up and sharing with Dr. Berger. If you have any other questions you want to ask him, now's the time to do it.
Well, so therapy is a good place to start. But before I go to a therapist, should I journal my thoughts? Will I go in? I tell them, well, I guess, I don't know. Do they tell me what they want to talk about? I did see a therapist when I was 13.
Well, practice it right now, Mimi. Practice with Dr. Berger right now. He's on the line. Just ask him a question.
So here, Mimi.
Okay.
Mimi, look.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to slow it down a little bit. So what you want to first think about. So you want to think about that you're hiring the therapist. So don't give them the power, okay? You want to make sure you feel safe with that person and that you think that they're going to help you. See, what I tell people that come and see me is that in our first interview, we're going to see if I can help you, and we're also going to see how we feel about working with each other. Because if we're not a good fit, if you don't feel like I can be there for you and act in your best interest, there's no reason for you to be in the room with me. And the same thing, if I don't feel safe with you, I don't want to be in the room with you. So we both got to pay attention to that. But here's what I tell my clients. If you don't leave every session I have with more than you started, then I'm not doing my job.
Okay.
Now hear that again, Mimi. Every session that you go to, you need to walk away with more than you walked into that room with. That's your gold standard right now that I'm giving you.
The only experience I'm sorry. The only experience I have with the therapist is when I was 13, so I was a child, and she asked me some questions, and I wanted to continue on, but, my family said that, black people, you don't do that, and I just kind of always had that in my mind, and I know that therapy is a good thing, but it's always that judgment, so I guess I've always looked at it almost like going to a therapist is from a child's point of view and not a grown woman that I am right now.
There you go, Mimi. That's important what you're just saying. You got to differentiate that, and you just did. Fantastic.
See, it's already working. You owe him $200. Now, listen. Oh no, but Mimi, you see how welcoming and inviting Dr. Berger is. Maybe you should reach out to Dr. Berger. And if not, maybe you should ask him if he knows somebody in your area. You're in Jacksonville, Florida. You create a relationship here.
I'm scared, though. I'm still scared, but I know I'm supposed to do it.
All of you is welcome. All of you is welcome here, Mimi. All of you, even the scared part of you. There's room for that too, sweetie.
There you go. Okay. Well, Mimi, we love you. Once again, Mimi is the champion of today. She fought her fears. She called in. She was transparent.
Go, Mimi.
Mimi, we appreciate you. Yes. Let's get Heru Ali from Battle Creek, Michigan in here. Battle Creek, Michigan. This is going to be different, Dr. Berger. This guy right here, I don't know. Prepare to hear what you not going to do. Talk to us, Heru Ali. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts? You got questions for Dr. Berger? Let him rip.
Peace and love to the family of nations. Honors Mimi. Honors Zoe. KBLA staff. Honors Dr.
Berger. Are you okay? You breaking
Alan
down?
Berger.
Are you breaking down?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you breaking down already, brother. I don't come on, man. Through it.
Tonight,
let's go.
Listen. If those who are listening right now, jewels are always dropped on this show, on this broadcast, on the YouTube. But if y'all not have been moved in your spirit tonight with the complete authenticity, and I appreciate the distinctions between the military PTSD of being in war, because I am a veteran of 23 years, versus the so-called civilian PTSD and the grace and the mercy that has been extended. Listen, at first I had so many angles that I wanted to come from the non-support on the super chat to that's not even it. That's not even it.
Yes.
That's not even it. Dr. Alan Berger, did I pronunciate it correct, sir?
Yeah, you got it. Yes, you did.
Absolute salute to you. Honors to you. Honors to you, Zoe. Andy, everybody, listen. They laid it out so flat. This ain't even on, because I come on here and be like, EMP, inflation, all of that stuff. No, this is absolutely not that at night. Because guess what? Even if you know that a nuke is coming in, who are you cuddling up to with the last minutes of your lives? Whether you're afraid to die or not, that doesn't even matter. I thank y'all for breaking it down raw. Listen, whoever's listening to this, y'all got to play this back. Because I don't think, and it's not even got to do with the support in the super channel and stuff. Tonight,
the information.
This stuff right here, this right here. Peace and love to the family nations. I'm not even going to waste nobody's time even going into all the points that I was coming at. Peace and love to the family nations.
Thank you.
I love y'all.
Thank you, Heru.
I love y'all.
We love you too, brother. Hey, Heru is touched. I haven't seen Heru like that in a long time. Heru is touched. I'm calling in callers. Truemonger, Attila Phillips. We want everybody to call in. Listen to this quote right here. David Rico says, our wounds are often the openings into the best and most beautiful parts of us. Wow. And then, of course, the Buddha said, our sorrows and wounds are healed only when we touch them with compassion. Dr. Berger, can you talk to me about how to cultivate self-compassion, self-empathy, self-acceptance, self-acknowledgement, self-esteem, self-worth? How do we get these things actually running, up and running in our spirit so we can handle the challenges and the trials and tribulation that some relationships bring to us?
Well, look, so you're getting to the heart of the matter in terms of our relationship with ourselves, right? And it does come down to self-esteem. And look, when you have all these ideas about who you should be, you can't be who you are. That's the problem, right? When I have all these ideas, and what in the issue is that most of us dedicate our lives to being who we should be rather than to being who we are. See, we try to actualize a concept of ourselves instead of actualizing who we really are. And that generates all these shoulds. So then when you don't live up to these ideas, then you unleash that beast, man. We start criticizing ourselves, putting ourselves down. The should monster shows up, right?
The should monster.
We should all over us. Right.
You should all over yourself.
That's right, man. And that's look, and that's gonna tear you down. Self-esteem is an utter refusal to have an adversarial relationship with yourself. You refuse to let that part get away with that.
I need you to stop. You cannot come into my show and hit people in the face like that. Just stop. What did he just say? You got to say that one more time, Doc.
Self-esteem is an utter refusal to have an adversarial relationship with yourself. An utter refusal. So when that part of you, your should monster comes after you, got to take him on. You got to back him off, and you say, look, I've been trying to do what you've been telling me to do my whole life. It's not working. I need your help. I don't need your criticism. I need you to join me to be what we can be and not try to be something we're not. We need to shift our focus into something that's going to be nourishing, that's going to help us grow and help us realize and support who we instead of trying to live up to these ideals.
Oh, my God. Listen, to back up Dr. Berger, I bring in my favorite philosopher, J. Krishnamurti. He says, in awareness, there is no becoming. There is no end to be gained. There is silent observation without choice and condemnation, from which there comes understanding. When we come forward, Dr. Berger and we're going to take some more callers. The voice of reason is on complete fire.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
Can we make 10,000 thread count sheets?
For Lens Linens, staying in the comfort zone is never an option.
Maximum thread count we could possibly thread.
An industrial seamstress would make their sweet dreams come true.
I want it to feel like you're on a snowflake, on cotton candy, on marshmallows, on a cloud.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, the voice of reason has returned. My good friend Dr. Alan Berger is with me, and we're talking about how to effectively deal with trauma. And that quote, man, that quote from Krishnamurti was just so powerful. I want to hit it again. He says, in awareness, there is no becoming. When you are aware, you can never become something you aren't already. Anyway, Michael Jackson was gonna be Michael Jackson. Kobe was gonna be Kobe. It's just, you can never become something you aren't already. And that's why I love this quote here. He says, in awareness, there is no becoming. There is no end to be gained. There is silent observation without choice and condemnation, from which there comes understanding. J. Krishnamurti. If you approach your wounds this way, your wounds will open up and reveal the oyster pearl. It'll give it to you. But because you've empowered it, because you're afraid of it, and you judge it and you condemn it, it stays tightly closed and in a leadership position in your spirit, dictating who you should date and how you should date and when you should break up. People don't understand. This is the power you've given those unhealed wounds. Doc, we got a couple of people on the line. You want to talk to them real quick?
Oh yeah, let's have a conversation.
All right, guys, you got to make it quick because we're at the end. Theo, Charleston, South Carolina, get in here.
Hey, Dr. Allen. If I have a quick question. If I'm doing self-aware work at home, listening to therapists online, Not saying that I don't want to go to therapy, but how does that help me go to therapy as I'm doing all that work already?
Well, that's great, man. It's if you're developing a self-awareness, but there's something that happens when we share it with another, because we still may have our blind spots, and you might not be able to see them. See, we don't know what we don't know. We can't see what we can't see. And so if I'm listening to somebody, like what happened with Mimi, Mimi thought that she was going down one direction, and she thought what she was doing was something of value to herself. And I shared from my perspective something that Mimi wasn't aware of. And when she brought that in, it opened up her consciousness to a whole new vision. And we can't do that alone, man. That's where we need
aren't
each
I
other.
supposed to getting that but aren't I supposed to be getting that reflection from my mate?
Yeah, but
isn't that the mirror that I'm
you can't
supposed
see
to be
your
getting
blind
from them?
spots? But you can't see your blind spots by yourself.
Okay.
You just can't see them. It's impossible. It's impossible. I can't see my blind spots. And look, I do this stuff all the time, and I've got them. You know, I go to I'm doing some therapy now to deal with a personal crisis in my life, and I'm telling you, stuff is being revealed to me, and I've been doing this stuff for 50 years, man.
So let me just say this really quickly, Theo. The doc said you can't see your blind spots. He's 100% true. He's 100% correct when he says that. I say it a little differently. I say you can't watch the show you're the star of. You're starring in a show. You can't be a spectator of what you're starring in.
You can't be the audience, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Though.
So
yeah.
So when he's
good.
talking about the blind spots, sometimes you got to take yourself off the set and then go to the therapist so he can have you look at yourself from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what he means by the blind spots. You can't see them through your partner. Your partner's a work in progress just as you are. So they've got blind spots. So you have to go to an objective source so they can point you in a direction to take. You feel me?
Okay.
All right, brother. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. I'm trying to get the last caller. Atala, you got 30 seconds.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Hi, Dr. Berger. Hi, Bill. Okay,
Hi.
So quick question. What do you recommend for people trying to heal in the presence of the people that abuse them?
Ooh, that's a challenge, right? That's a big, big, big challenge. It's hard. It's a bigger challenge. I think it's possible, but you're going to have to do a few things that are good to make that a reality. One is quickly not take what they're doing personally. Understand what they're doing. They're not doing it to you. They're just doing it. That's number one. Number two, you got to hold on to yourself. You can't let what they're doing define who you are.
Oof.
So those are the two things. If you're going to be in that situation, you've got to cultivate those as soon as possible to be able to do what you're asking yourself to do.
All right, listen, we've got to go. Thank you so much to all the callers. My brother, Dr. Alan Berger, I appreciate you, brother. We will talk
Thanks,
soon.
Bill.
Thank you, man. I love you, bro. Listen, up next, you already know, Jill Monroe, RSVP. The fire continues. The voice of reason is out, but Jill is in.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. No arrests have been made